I didn't get none today. I'll probably give me some probably the weekend.
You better hurry up, bro. They only had like 2 bottles left.
I better get it tomorrow then. Lord will.
Kyra. Yeah, I went in there today. Grab me a little bottle. Come. Looks like we live. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We the brothers out of Great Millstone Vadas back at you again with another weekly lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. But first and foremost, want to start by giving our praises on the glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh
Bahasham,
by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekadah.
double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect, pushing its word and truth to sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
So I have the beautiful brother Tazayo with me. And we just going, the topic of slavery came to my mind because we ain't went into it in a little while. But we're gonna get some precepts and we're gonna cover a little bit of history. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Let me see. So according to the Bible, there was a lot of different examples of slavery. And I'm gonna go on ChatGPT and I'm gonna type in, was there slavery in the Bible? And we're gonna give you some examples of slavery in the Bible, because it's something that happened in the past under different circumstances, and it's something that's going to happen in the times we're living in now. Especially in the new kingdom of Israel, we are going to enslave the whole world. So I typed in ChatGPT, was there slavery in the Bible? It says the short answer says yes. I'm kind of skipping some of these examples. It says, here's the breakdown. In the Old Testament Hebrew Bible, slavery existed, but there were different categories. It says debt servitude, most common among Israelites. See, what these devils have now is basically debt servitude. Esau Edom has set up a system of debt servitude. Universe, U.S. debt clutch. Okay, take a look at this. This is the United States debt clock. I can't. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Damn it! Why can't you see this off of the screen? So the U.S. national debt is at 38 trillion. Why can't I remove this? Why can't I remove this? That's in the way. I'm trying to move it out of the way. Apparently you can't, I guess. So as you can see, man, Esau has a system of debt slavery. All right, debt slavery meaning. Says debt slavery, also known as debt bondage or peonage, is a form of modern slavery where an individual is forced to work to repay a debt or loan, the terms of which are often unfair or undefined, making repayment nearly possible. See?
Right.
See, Esau Edom the so-called white man, the rule, the elites that own everything, they have installed a system of debt slavery. You're basically gonna be working forever. You're never gonna pay off this debt, man.
Right.
So
Usury.
yeah, you're basically stuck, man.
Right.
And the numbers don't stop going up. They steady spending, man. Steady spending.
Con.
So it says, the debtor, it says the debtor's labor is not reasonably obsessed toward liquidating the debt. The debt itself can persist for years, even across generations. See,
Right.
so that's exactly the system of slavery that Esau Edom has, the ruling elites, the international bankers have installed in this whole world. Everybody, that debt, man, ultimately is a form. You're basically a debt slave. You
That's
know,
right.
you're a debt slave, man.
That goes back to Jim Crow also, Jim Crow area. When Jake was forced to be sharecroppers
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the harvest, Jake always ended up owing instead of prospering in that situation. Jake do all the work and Esau get all the money. And then claim Jake owe him because maybe the crops didn't yield what they were supposed to. He would always come up with some kind of reason to keep Jake on the plantation, back on the plantation.
I got you, bro. I got your back. All right. I went on Google and I typed in sharecropping was debt slavery. It says sharecropping in the post Civil War South. Um, Sharecropping in the post Civil War South functioned as a system of debt slavery or debt
Right,
bondage that trapped black or Israelites and white farmers in perpetual servitude to landowners. Though
exactly.
through manipulated credit, high interest loans for supplies at plantation stores, and
Hmm.
unfair crop settlements, sharecroppers often ended each year in debt, which was
Right.
legally carried over to the next, preventing them from leaving.
God.
What is that, bro?
Mm.
Let's get
Well,
it,
you
man.
definitely got a lot to pay for, man.
They got a lot to fucking pay for, man. And it's really making me upset. Um, what scripture I was gonna grab? Isaiah 10:1. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and not right grievousness which they have prescribed. Um, Isaiah 10 and 1 in NLT says, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice. They deny the rights of the needy. Among my people, they prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. So this is who we're dealing with, man. We're dealing with Esau Edom, the so-called white man, who doesn't mind taking advantage of you and having you an eternal slave under his digital system. Now, the same thing is happening now, but it's just digital now. It's gonna be a digital debt slavery. Right now, our people are suffering in slavery,
Oh
working
yeah.
for no reason. And see, Esau's gonna come with that C hit. So hold on, let's see. Mm. Oh, the scriptures speak about the Jubilee. Esau don't have nothing like for debt forgiveness. All right. It says, I typed in debt forgiveness in Bible. It says debt forgiveness in the Bible encompasses both a legal and socioeconomic system designed to prevent permanent poverty, the Sabbath and Jubilee years, a spiritual metaphor for divine mercy. Key practices included canceling fellow Israelite debts every 7 years, Deuteronomy 15, and releasing debt slaves for focusing on compassion over greed. See, we dealing with Esau, and righteous decrees is not his thing. If he want,
Right.
he can keep you in slavery. If he can keep you enslaved and working forever, he would do that shit. All right, it says the 7 year release, Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. It says Israelites were commanded to release debts owed by fellow Israelites every 7 years, a practice designed to ensure no permanent underclass, according to Rhode Island bankruptcy attorney. It says the year of Jubilee, Leviticus chapter 25. Every 50th year, all property returns to its original owners, and Hebrew debt slaves were freed. Proverbs on debt. This is Proverbs 22 and 7 highlights that the borrower is slave to the lender, warning
Mm-hmm.
against excessive risky debt as shown in the Open Bible Info package. Can you get that precept? Proverbs 27 and I'm sorry, Proverbs 22 and 7.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 27. The spirit of man is the candle of the Most High Yahweh.
Wait, what
Search,
precept? Proverbs
it says
22 and 7.
20 and 27.
No, 22 and 7.
All right, Salah, 22 and 7. This
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 22 and 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
And who's the rich? Who's the rich that's living over the poor? The international bankers, man. The people that nobody knows about. Yeah, I'm gonna retitle the lesson. Get slavery. 'Cause that's what we're going into. All right, so read that again, Baba Kasha.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
And right now, Esau is ruling. He's ruling over the poor. The rich is Esau. He's in his power. He's in his. Is he? This is his kingdom. He's living lavishly. You remember the parable of Lazarus, the rich man. Esau is that rich man that reigns in purple and scarlet because he's in this power, man. And Lazarus represents the nation of Israel. We're at the bottom,
Right, right.
and a lot of that is because the most of that is because of the system of debt slavery that Esau has put in place for our people. We don't have no debt forgiveness. We don't have good credit. This whole system was set up for Jake to be indebted, to be a slave. Can you get Baruch chapter? Well, you know what? I'm gonna get it, bro. Don't worry about it. Baruch 3 and 8, because we're subject to payments. And what are we paying on? They're fucking debt. Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. It says, Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us. for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payment, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. So we are yet this day in our captivity, and what we're subject to payments. We are slaves, man. You may not
That's
realize
right.
it, but you're a slave. But very soon the tables are going to be turned. They're going to be our slaves. I'm going to read some more, and it says, the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 and 12, Yahweh teaches, asks for forgiveness of debts, sins, as we forgive our debtors, linking spiritual forgiveness to practical mercy. The parable of the unforgiven servant, Matthew 18:21 through 35. Yahweh warns that those forgiven immense debt by the Most High should in turn, forgive others, says the Bible Gateway. So the Bible view encourages generosity to the poor, warns against harsh debt collection, and highlights that ultimately the Most High has forgiven the insurmountable debt of sin, necessitating mercy towards others. And that's one thing that Esau do. He don't have no mercy. Mercy is not in this category. If he had mercy, there would be some type of debt forgiveness, but there's not.
Yeah.
So Esau
You
has
know,
established a system of debt slavery in the world.
that's right.
You
Even
know,
today, if you own property or a house, you forever got to pay taxes on it. If you don't, they'll come and confiscate it. And you already done paid for the land in the house. But don't
yep.
pay them taxes and they'll next thing you know, you'll be homeless.
All right, let's go to real quick. It says not paying property taxes leads to accumulating penalties, interest, and fees, ultimately resulting in a lien, potential sale of the tax certificate to investors, and foreclosure, where you could lose your home. Local governments can sell the property to recover owed taxes, often within 1 to 3 years.
Ain't that something?
There you go. The brother said it, and we proved it. So the point of this is this whole system that Esau's established is nothing but oppression. And he it was designed that way. Now, debt slavery. It says debt slavery, also known as debt bondage or peonage, is a form of modern slavery where an individual is forced to work to repay a debt or loan, the terms of which are often unfair or undefined. If you want to do anything in this world, if you want to do anything in America, bro, what you got to do? What do you have to do? If you want to
Go
get a,
along with.
what you got to do?
So what now?
I say, if you want to get a house, what you got to do?
Or well, first you got to have a job though to pay for it or whatever. But you're gonna have to go to Esau.
Yeah. I'm looking for a particular word. What you got to get in order to get a house? A loan.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant when I say you got to go through Esau. Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
go to the bank,
yeah.
whatever, and
What do you
then hey, the
go ahead?
interest rate gonna kill you if you get the loan.
What you got to do in order to get a car? You got to get a loan.
Right. And a
And
lot
get
of time, say for instance, if you want to buy a house or some property, they want what is known as collateral. So in case you don't pay the loan off, they'll take whatever you put up as collateral.
Yeah. So if you want to do anything in the society, you have to get a loan. So that means you're gonna ultimately end up uh, accumulating debt. If you want to go to school, what you got to do?
You gotta take out a loan.
You got to get a school loan,
Right,
student loan. Everything you do in the society, it requires you to take out a loan. You have to borrow money.
right. And
Borrow
you
have.
have to be willing to accept the whatever stipulation behind getting that loan. You got to
Yeah.
sign out on it, sign off on it.
Yeah, and I want to say this: we're not professionals at this. We're just pointing out what's wrong with this society, what's wrong with this picture. A lot of people come from America. I mean, sorry, they come from other countries and they come to America and they get all kinds of incentives. They get free loans, 0% interest loans, and they get a one up on us, man. But
Oh yeah,
Jacob got to have good credit. We got to have good credit in order to get a good loan with low interest rates. Interest itself is nothing but fucking usury.
that's right.
And these devils got to pay for this. I know we was thinking about getting into actual slavery, but hey, the spirit took it somewhere else. We get into debt slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It says debt slavery, also known as debt bondage. That's how Esau has a grasp on the world. Remember what Nathan Rothschild said? One of the Rothschilds. It says, "Give me control of a nation's money, and not who makes the laws." Why is that? Because if you control the money, you control everything else.
That's right.
America doesn't even own their own money, man. The Federal Reserve is not it's a private institution.
Right.
America's borrowing everything that they get. And they're going more and more and more into debt.
Yep.
All right, it says, let's see. It says debt slavery, also known as debt bondage or peonage, is a form of modern slavery where an individual is forced to work to repay a debt or a loan, the terms of which are often unfair or undefined, making repayment nearly impossible. The debtor's labor is not reasonably assessed towards the liquidating the debt, and the debt itself can for persist for years, even across generations. Um, let's read a little bit of the key characteristics. It says impossible repayment. Employers or recruiters often inflate the debt with high interest rates or added fees for basic needs like food, housing, and transportation, trapping the worker in an endless cycle of debt. And that's exactly how Esau operates, man. That's why he needs to be put down.
God.
That's why
Oh,
America needs to be destroyed because we trying to get ahead, but you can't get ahead because
right.
every time you think you're getting ahead, guess what? You got to pay this loan off. You got to borrow just to get ahead, and you don't end up getting ahead, bro. Like it's man, it's fucked up how Esau is doing this shit, man. But this is America, this is society. He gonna
Right.
continue to do things that's gonna benefit him. And like it says, the borrower is subject to the lender. So every money, all the money that we make is going right back to this devil.
Right.
We
You
just
know, I was just thinking about Miss Mary Turner. You know, That's pretty much what caused her death. Her husband confronted this the guy that he was working for, which was probably with nothing more than sharecropping, and they had an altercation, and hey, Esau got caught the worst end of it, and that's what pretty much caused her husband and her death, and
Hmm.
her unborn infant.
He kill him. Then he killed the guy.
Yes, they killed the guy, and they hung her, cut the baby out of her, and stumped the baby to death. The baby was, I think it was about probably about 7 or 8 months old when they cut her out of it. When he hit the ground, he started crying, and they stumped. Oh man, I don't even want to think about it. Yeah.
Don't think about it. It's gonna piss you off. Um, Coercion and control. It says victims often have their identification document seized, face threats, intimidation, and violence, and have severe restrictions on their freedom of movement. That's if you don't pay off your debts. Inherited debt. In many cases, if the original debtor dies without paying off the debt, the child or other family members are forced to work to repay it, perpetuating the cycle across generations. Damn. Vulnerability. The practice preys on poor. It preys on poor. Jacob, marginalized and discriminated populations who lack access to formal credit systems and legal positions, such as migrant workers or specific ethnic and caste affect groups. So the system it's a predatory system, and it was set up that way. This whole system is predatory, and that's why we need salvation. We need freedom from all of this bullshit, man. We need free from Edom and his system of slavery. Let me see. It says lack of transparency. The duration and nature of the services required are often not clearly defined, leaving a worker with no clear indication of when their debt will be considered paid. Debt bondage is prevalent in various industries worldwide, including agriculture, sharecropping. See, the brother was going into sharecropping, sharecropping,
Mhm.
rice harvesting, and tobacco fields.
Oh yeah, I know
Bo-
about that tobacco field.
Brick Kylan's construction, domestic servitude, mining, commercial sexual exploitation. Hmm. Debt slavery is a severe violation of human rights and is prohibited by international law, notably the UN's 1956 supplemental conventional and abolishment of slavery, which that's bullshit because the whole world is still, well, America's still facing what? This debt right here. A debt that they'll never be able to pay off, but they constantly printing money. They're constantly using those US dollar those Federal Reserve notes. So Esau has the world controlled by a system of debt. You see, that's how he has everything controlled by a system of debt. But now the whole world is starting to move away from the dollar, which is causing a
Hmm.
problem.
Right.
Can you get that? You get that Leviticus? Well, actually, can you get Haggai 1 and 6? Yeah,
Well, just a moment though. You say Hagar
1 and 6.
Tablet acting crazy. Hold on just a minute. Give me a minute. This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
He that earneth wages earneth it to put it in the bag filled with holes, man. That's what it's like living in society that is basically run by you. Basically, are as soon as you come out of the womb, you're already in debt.
That's right.
And what the social security cards is a indicator that you are
And your birth certificate, which is nothing more than uh, a title, and and that you are property of this corporation.
corporation
Hmm.
that is indebted to the elites.
That's right. That is why you must have a passport when traveling out of the country, so they'll know where their property at. Your slave papers.
Yeah. Uh, you got that? What precept do you got?
You want me to go back to what proverb? Go back to proverb. What was I at? Proverb.
22:7. We're gonna you read that one more time and then we're gonna switch gears a little bit.
Okay. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
In this case, Esau is the lender and we're the borrower. Like the scriptures tell you, we was gonna be the tail and he was gonna be the head. That's a part of
Right.
the. We was put under these devils to serve a punishment, and we living that punishment out because basically we are nothing but slaves, debt slaves to this society, man. That's why we want to be set free. That's why we want America to be destroyed according to Bible prophecy. It's not something that we're gonna do. It's because it's Bible prophecy. The Most High Yahweh, who the true God of the Bible, is gonna put an end to Esau. He's gonna put an end to his power structure. He's gonna put an end to all of this shit. You know, he's gonna put it in. He's gonna set us free out of those chains. The scripture says the captive seeking wants to be loosed. In so many words, man, we want to be free. We don't want to have to pay debt for the rest of our fucking lives, man. Just to exist, just to live. You gotta pay rent. You gotta pay water. You gotta pay a mortgage. You gotta pay all of this shit. You can't really live, bro. This is not living. This is a cycle of death that Esau has us under, and we'll never get out of it if we don't get salvation from Yahweh Shah. That's why he's so important. So, can you get Leviticus chapter 25 and 44? We're going to get into a different type of slavery not debt slavery, but actual slavery, bondage slavery, working. It's basically the same thing, but you just, in debt slavery, you're working to pay off a debt. In regular slavery, you just fucking working.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, starting at verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaid, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of
Mm-hmm.
them shall ye buy bondsmen and bondmaids.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession.
See, just like Esau has the world controlled by a system of debt and slavery, we're gonna actually have control over these people, over our enemies, man. You know, whatever we say goes. If we say you resting on the Sabbath day, guess what you're doing? You resting on the Sabbath day. It's basically going to be a hostile takeover. Israel is getting on the throne. You know, so the strangers that are in the midst of us are the other nations, and they are going to be our slaves. The Bible tells you that clearly. A bond man is a male slave, or a bond woman is a female slave. Because the same way Esau, Edom put us in slavery, and amongst
That's
any
right.
other nations as well, they're going to be put into slavery.
That's right.
So the Bible
As the
tells
old,
you clearly.
yep. As the old saying go, it's gonna be a changing of the guards.
Read that last verse, bro. You got it.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, starting with verse 45. Moreover, of the children of the stranger that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondsmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor.
See, we can rule over we can't rule over our own people with rigor, but we can rule over the nations with rigor. Harsh treatment.
That's right. They did it to us.
Yeah, and they got to be paid back.
That's right.
And technically, you nations are going to be indebted to us because you got to build up our kingdom. That means you're going to be in slavery. You got to be in slavery in order to build our kingdom up. Can you get Revelation chapter 13, start at verse 9?
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, starting at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
See, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword is going to be killed with the sword. So you're going to basically you get what you give. And Esau has enslaved us under his own his system. But soon we're going to be set free from this system, and we're going to put him in chains. None of you devils are going to get away. All of y'all are going to get enslaved by the nation of Israel. Can you get First Kings chapter 9, start at verse 20? Abakashah.
The book of First Kings, chapter 9, verse 20. And all the people that were left out of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel. Their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able utterly to destroy.
So so basically these are remaining heathens that are in our land, or in our area. And what are we going to do with them? What are they going to do? Go ahead, bro.
Upon those did Solomon levy a tribute or bond service unto this day.
See, what did King Solomon do? He made them bond servants, which is bond slaveries. He made them servants, slaves. That's what he did. Go ahead.
But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondsmen, but they
See,
were men of war, and his servant, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers of his chariots, and his horsemen.
King Solomon made those heathens. He made them slaves, but he promoted Israelites into positions of power and influence.
Yeah.
That's the difference between an Israelite and a heathen.
Lord willing, we if we are the men, the elect, we're gonna be holding no position in this kingdom to come.
Yeah, positions of power.
Right.
You can get Jeremiah 30:16, Robert Kashaw.
Jeremiah, I
Chapter
didn't
30,
quite hear you.
30 and 16.
30 and 16. Salaki.
You good?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries. Every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
So he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All of those that are spoiled, that have spoiled us, will be spoiled. The scriptures tell you many times about slavery and how Israel gonna possess and control these other nations, but due to slavery, man. It's not going to be like the system of debt slavery that Esau has today, but it's going to be a form. It's going to be a form of slavery, and this is what we're anticipating because we're going to have our hands, our neck, our knees on the necks of our enemies, and there's nothing that they can do about it because prophecy is being fulfilled.
That's right.
You enslaved us, we're going to enslave you. Many scriptures tell you that. So he that leadeth you put us in captivity, you're going to be in captivity. You spoiled
Right.
us, you're going to be spoiled. And that's just fair because the scripture says what a false balance is an abomination to the Lord.
That's right. And then they can always look on the bright side of it. There'll never be no unemployment.
Let's look up the word cattle slavery. Chattel slavery, I'm sorry. It says chattel slavery was a system of forced labor and dehumanization when enslaved people were treated as legal personal property of the owners for life. So that's what you devils going to experience. Let me change the title again. Debt slavery. Chattel. Chattel slavery. So like yeah. Probably spelling that wrong. Yep. So let me see. I'm gonna read some more. It says prevalent in Americas from 17th to the 19th centuries, it allowed enslaved individuals to be bought, sold, traded, inherited, and used as collateral. You were just speaking about collateral, weren't you, brother?
That's right.
They use slaves as collateral. This is their her, I'm sorry. This hereditary system, I'm so sorry, where children inherited their mother's enslaved status was sustained by extreme violence, slave patrols, and laws that stripped away all human rights. Key aspects of chattel slavery in America, definition and characteristics, derived from the word cattle. Chattel slavery means total ownership, reduce human beings to commodities or livestock. Owners had absolute control over the lives, bodies, and labor of the enslaved. And that same thing's gonna happen to you. Everything is coming full circle, man. Everything is gonna come full circle. Hereditary status laws such as those established in Virginia 1662 decreed that a child's status followed that of the mother's, ensuring that slavery was permanent and intergenerational. See, they wanted to make it to where you can't get out of slavery. They're gonna do it even now with their microchip, micro chip. You're basically gonna be a slave under Esau's digital system. See, all of these
That's,
things are the same. It's just he's doing it digitally now.
that's
He's
right.
doing technology. He can make you a slave with technology. He can shut down the highways. He can shut down the phones. He can shut down the internet in order to control people.
That's right.
Whatever
And
he can do, he wants to.
I say nothing more than modern day slave catchers.
Yeah, police in general. That's what
Yeah,
police derived from. They was
that's
first
right.
slave patrol, if I'm not mistaken.
And who are these IS agents going after?
Yeah,
Israelites.
yeah. So in this lesson, we wanted to discuss what debt slavery was in comparison to chattel slavery, which this lesson was not planned out that way, but that's how the spirit had it go. So we're just adjusting and adjusting how we go, how we continue on through the spirit, because the spirit is like the wind. You can't control it. You just got to go with it.
That's right.
So let's see. Economic drivers. This is enslaved labor was the foundation of the colonial and American economy, particularly on plantations and factories and for infrastructure projects, especially after the intervention of the cotton gin. So these devils benefited heavily off of that slavery of the nation of Israel. Heavily. Don't let them lie to you, man. Daily life and violence. Enslaved people faced constant, brutal, physical, and emotional abuse, including whipping, forced labor for hours, and the constant threat of being separated from families through sales. So, what does that tell you? Esau was very cruel to our people. He was
That's
cruel.
right.
And guess what? You're going to receive the same fate. Uh, Everything that you devils have done is going to come back on you. It says control mechanisms, slave patrols, and later formal laws enforced movement restrictions and caught runaways. Sound like the police to me, doesn't it, brother?
Hmm. All over again.
That's right. End of system. This is the institution was abolished in the United States via 13. Bullshit. Slavery was not abolished, man. It was just transferred from
That's
one
right.
from a plantation owner to the government. You're basically a corporate slave. Let's see what that word is. Corporate slave. Damn, I cannot spell right now. The term corporate slave is an informal, often sarcastic, or self-depreciating expression used to describe an employee who feels excessively exploited, overworked, and underpaid by a large corporation. Is not we overworked and underpaid out here, man? Let me see. We finna get ready to close it out. You heard me, Tazayo?
I hear you.
Okay. We finna get ready to close out. I'm thinking of trying to go one more scripture. Oh, can you get Colossians 3 and 25? I can close out with that.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he has done, and there is no respect of persons.
So we're living in a time where Esau is going to receive judgment for all the wrong that he has done, particularly to the nation of Israel, but Esau is going to suffer. The whole nation of Edom is going to suffer. And this is the day that we're anticipating, that our enemies will be put under our feet, and we will have reign and slavery. We will have our enemies by the neck, and they will be our slaves. All right, so this lesson, debt slavery / chattel slavery, came through the spirit. Lord willing, it was edifying. You know, the system that Esau is in play is really an unrighteous decree, as the scriptures tell you. And very soon, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, we will be set free from this system of slavery, of debt slavery, and even chattel slavery at that too, because it's still working. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. We're going to close out by giving our praises and the glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai,
Hashem, Bakodash.
Bahashem, Bahashem,
Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule teach well. Shalom.
Shalom.